How you doing, everybody? I'm Alex Strouf with SBTV Sports. As the weather begins to slow down, fingers crossed, of course, so does the winter sports season and tournament play. Just like spring, again, fingers crossed, is just around the corner. The Pointers men's basketball team wrapped up the home portion of their schedule last night, which you could watch right here on SBTV. The Pointers, who have again fallen out of the D3 Hoops rankings, needed one for momentum purposes as the postseason approaches. Luckily, the Dogs are playing host to UW Stout, who is winless in WIAC play this season. Nate Dodge, the leading scorer for the Pointers, opened the game with a triple, his only three-pointer of the night, that helped Point get off to a 9-0 opening run, and they never looked back. Dodge led all scorers in that one with 18 points, while Ethan Bublitz had 10 points. 13 different pointers, that's a lot, so at least one go in the basket last night as UWSB topped the Blue Devils 80-53. The men's team travels to Platteville on Saturday to close out their regular season. With a win, the Pointers will head into the WIAC tournament as the 3 seed. The winner of the WIAC tournament receives an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament.
We are joined now by 1998 NCAA National Player of the Year and two-time NBA All-Star Mr. Antoine Jameson at his basketball camp. Antoine, I know you're a busy dude, so thank you for taking the time to join us.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Nice to catch up with you guys and get the background. So I think it's going to be a great interview, and we're going to have fun.
Let's do it. So I guess let's start with where we are, what we're doing. Obviously, the annual Antoine Jameson basketball camp. It's named after you because you're important. But I mean, I
won't go that far.
Baker Mayfield is already proven he's a great quarterback in the NFL.
Let's watch it there, buddy. Let's watch that word.
He is. I mean, he took a team.
He's not great. He had 10 good games. He had a very good rookie season. Absolutely. Wait before you put the title great on him. You can't even put the title great on Patrick Mahomes yet, who's a much better quarterback.
I don't know about that. No, he's great.
Give him more than a year.
He's great.
He was absolutely phenomenal in 2018. He's not great yet.
He's great.
I made
MVP.
a video after week
MVP.
4
MVP.
for a social sports app, and I said, after week 4, I said this, when they were undefeated, and he looked like a clear-cut MVP candidate, and he went and won it. My exact words were, he possesses every intangible, every aspect, and every characteristic you will need in a successful quarterback. I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes in this sense. And he does. He had one really, really, really freaking good season. I think he repeats it. I'm not saying he won't, but it's too early to call him great.
You can be
you
great.
need to be consistently
you can be great at something without being like, I'm not saying he's the greatest or will be the greatest for the next 10 years or whatever. Like, I'm saying,
remember when Derek Carr had a really good season? He got hurt in week 15 and he was an MVP front runner week 13.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying, that guy's the quarterback of the future. And what's happened to Derek Carr?
But Derek Carr is not even Patrick Mahomes. He's not on the same level.
Derek Carr was the MVP front runner in 2015 until he got hurt, and then Matt Ryan won it. Because Matt Ryan and him were in a tight race. Yes, he was.
And you said
2015, the year the Falcons went to the Super Bowl. Oakland just missed the playoffs because Derek Carr.
2016.
Sorry, 2016. Derek Carr got hurt, and Derek Carr was having, it was by far the best year of his career, but he had a season-ending injury.
Every year you're doing this, you're coming back. So talk to me about, the importance of giving back, teaching some kids some crucial, tools and things that you do in this 2-day camp, and obviously the connection with Carolina coming back here every year.
Yeah.
Alex, you said the Lakers need to get more than LeBron in order for this to be a success. Please tell us why.
Right, so if you don't mind, let me start with this. This move for LeBron is a good move for a couple things. Number one, merch sales are going to be through the roof. A Lakers jersey 23, that's going to make so much money. It's a great move for that, right? It's a great move for showing that pressure does not scare the king, Jason. Obviously, this stage is huge. There's no basketball stage larger than Los Angeles, especially the Lakers. So showing that this stage does not scare the king, wonderful move. But it's also a good move for putting LeBron stuck at 3 rings for the time being, because in this conference, you and I are in agreement here, you've said it before, he's not going to win. He will not win. Look at this supporting cast around him. There's no Kawhi, no Boogie, no Paul George. They're not there right now. He's got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, LeVar Ball's son, a washed-up Rajon Rondo, Lance Stevenson, who likes his ear more than basketball, and JaVale McGee and Brandon Ingram. This supporting cast is just as bad, if not worse, as this Cavaliers team he brought to the finals this past year. Players are remembered by their greatest moments, right? We look at Michael Jordan. He was remembered for the big shots, the great shots, the big moments, 2 3-peats. When we look at LeBron, we're going to remember him for 8 straight finals and taking really bad teams to big stages. The finals, right? The 07 Cavaliers team. This past year, the 2018 Cavaliers team. We'll remember him for that. And now I think this Lakers run, and it's premature to say this, but it might be something we choose to forget about because he's not going to win.
Choose to forget about it? I mean, how are we possibly going to choose to forget about an era of the greatest player of our generation, probably the greatest player of all time? I understand that this may not work out. I understand he may not win championships, but whatever he does in LA is only going to grow the legacy of LeBron. As much as we want to say it's all about championships, we need to accept the fact that super teams now exist, and super teams exist at such a level. The consciousness of sports fans has changed so much that what we're talking about today are championships. What they'll be talking about in 5 years is the Lakers and the ability for LeBron to rebuild that roster. If they stick with all the guys you just talked about, the Lakers have one opportunity here you haven't mentioned, and that's the future. As much as I think they should go in and win right now, they're situating themselves to be able to utilize LeBron while they develop the future, which will then make them relevant. Otherwise, what was the path? The Lakers were getting no closer to relevance in the last 5 years and missing the playoffs. By adding LeBron, at the very least, they've taken the biggest market that they needed, and they've made them relevant. That is great for basketball. That's going to be great for LeBron's legacy, championship or not. The championship part of LeBron's legacy will be forgotten because, frankly, he is the best player of our lifetimes.
That's fair. Probably not of yours because let's remember Michael Jordan. And there was a period in his career that everybody chooses to forget about, and he was still leading a team in points per game. Remember that Wizards era, Jason? It wasn't a very one we choose to remember. But back to your point. I mean,
but it was the Wizards. Wait. It was the Wizards. We're not talking about the Lakers. It was the Wizards. I mean,
that's fair enough, but it was still the greatest player probably of your generation. I was born in '98. I didn't get to see Michael Jordan.
You just called me old. You just called me old. You went straight for the old guard.
I'm not calling you out. I'm young.
Now, I mean, look, you're young. That was Fat Michael. Okay, Fat Michael. Anything happening for Fat Michael doesn't count towards the legacy.
Fair enough. Well, let's get away from Michael. Let's go back to LeBron. I mean, looking at him in LA, I mean, yes, they have the future, but let's remember, LeBron's going into year 16. Him playing at his peak is no longer a guarantee. I mean, he's coming off, debatably, and we can agree here, one of the best seasons of his career. But he's getting older. Injuries are more likely to happen at this point. You know, he's going to wear down. Fatigue's going to set in. He's getting older.
Have we not learned? What bubble are we living in, though? Have we not learned anything from looking at Tom Brady? I mean, every stinking year, it's the year of the decline of Tom Brady, and then all he does is continue to be great. There's a point where, as much as we want to talk about the decline of LeBron, he should have been the MVP last year.
But Jason, nothing is a guarantee anymore. You need to win now if you have LeBron at the peak he's at. I mean, he's playing at such a high level like he did last year. You need to win now. They need to go out and get Kawhi. Kawhi doesn't want to play it with him anymore because he's a diva. Kyrie didn't want to play with him. Paul George didn't sign there. Boogie took the easy way out. You can't win right now with LeVar Ball's son and Kyle Kuzma, who, don't get me wrong, the future's bright. You said it. The future is very bright for this young Los Angeles team. However, it's not where it needs to be right now for LeBron to win. This is maybe the 7th or 8th best roster right now in the Western Conference. Winning is important, Jason. Although we don't want to talk about it, it's very, very important to a legacy like a guy named LeBron James.
And I do completely agree with you. I believe that they're in win-now mode. If you watch First Take this week, I'm not going to reverse my stance on that. They are in win-now mode. The judgment of LeBron won't just be, though, and through all of it, won't just be in the way they win. It'll be in the way he leaves this franchise. What state is this franchise in? Because as much as we want to talk about the Cavaliers and how they're going to be irrelevant for a generation, the Lakers won't stand for that. If he's able to get people over, especially next summer, if he's able to land other free agents that do want to play with LeBron, if he's able to take the Lakers and put them on a path that leads to a championship, even if it doesn't happen while he's there, if he's the impetus that gets them to championship level basketball, that will be remembered as part of his legacy and part of his positive for bringing the Lakers back to relevance.
Yeah, that I can agree with. I think First Take, I think you were there when you talked about they cannot wait to put a statue outside of LeBron James. Because if he does that, I mean, obviously he cements his legacy as a GOAT. There is no question about it. If he can lead this team to a championship. But let's face the facts, man. LeBron's got what? Let's say, I mean, this is a 4-year deal. So in the next 4 years, this team isn't going to win a championship.
To professional sports, things are getting fun in the National Football League, ladies and gentlemen, as the next wave of potential superstars got to show off their natural abilities and intangibles at the 2019 NFL Combine in Indianapolis over the weekend. From DK Metcalf of Ole Miss, showing he's a rare breed as a large wideout, to Oklahoma quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray, demanding the spotlight without even participating in a workout. We saw speculation and rumors begin to form, and the futures of franchises come to light. Let's start with this. Who are some of the future stars that impressed you guys at the NFL Combine? I know I mentioned two names, one that didn't even participate in workouts, and the other who's an absolute freak of nature in Metcalf. Any other names, or even if you want to jump on those?
This on what has been a busy week for your former team where you spent 8 seasons and you still love and cheer for. Let's dive right into that. The Packers, on Sunday, they decided to part ways with 13-year coach Mike McCarthy. Initial reaction from you is what?
Justin Billiot takes the snap. He'll drop back. Pressure coming for Adam. He gets rid of it. It's caught one-handed. Bobble intercepted. It's taken up the sideline. Only Billiot can get him, and he will be stopped. They're going to rule it down at about the 2-yard line. Maybe the 2-yard line, if that. Number 36, Philip Henry. The deflected interception went in and out of the hands of B.J. Hill as he was dealing with contact. But Henry decided to run in all the way to the 2-yard line, only a minute and a half into this game. So the Rattlers are going to be right on just about their own goal line, their first offensive snap of this game. So Ziemba under center. Jabre Lally in his backfield, the running back, and 2 in motion. And he will just give it. He tripped at the goal line, did Ziemba. He gave it off to Lally, but he was not able to get much of a gain. Let's see what the refs have to say what happened on the field there. We'll send it down.
Prior to the play, there was a delay of game on the offense. Number 11. It's a 5-yard penalty. It'll be first down.
See, I did not see that, even though we have a play clock right in front of us. So a delay of game called on Ziemba. Wow. So rather than their 1-yard line now at their own, or rather the Blizzard 6, are the Arizona Rattlers trying to get on the board first early into this one, just over 2 minutes. So Ziemba in a shotgun formation now. He'll take it himself. A quick pitch on an option. He gets up to maybe the 6-yard line. Now a fumble, it looks like, possibly. Here's the Blizzard faithful going wild. It was Marquez Goldman that got in there. And they will call it a strip and a Blizzard football. Another turnover in this one.
There was a fumble on the play, recovered by Green Bay. 1st and 10, Green Bay.
And that confirms it as official. So Marquez Goldman comes up with a huge play in his first game with the Blizzard. The former 49er, San Francisco 49er that is, comes up with a big strip. Right about the 6-yard line, the Blizzard will take over at their own 11.
As I mentioned in the pregame, the Green Bay Blizzard definitely revamped their defense, and Marquez Goldman is one of those defensive backs. He's going to have a big season for them this year.
Wow, tough call there, but nonetheless, it went in favor of the home team. Here we go. Dropping back is Billiot, trying to get some space, and he loses it, catches it himself. Brett Favre-esque just across from Lambeau Field, and he'll be taken down way behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of about 5 there on the play. Not good for Billiot right there.
He's had 3 plays here with the Blizzard. Not a great start so far, but hopefully he can bounce back and get in the positive for yards gained.
So here we go. That'll make it 2nd and 13. Only loss of 3, they're going to call it. I'll politely disagree. It looks like a loss of about 5, but nonetheless, I'm wearing a microphone, not running the sticks, as the ball is kicked pre-snap. So they got to reset it anyway. A solid crowd here in the Resch Center this evening. New faith in the Blizzard here in Green Bay as Billiot back in the shotgun. B.J. Hill to his left, a couple of receivers right. They're in motion. Here we go. Here's the snap. It's low. It's bobbled, and Billiot just picks it up and decides he's going to throw it all the way to the crowd. Take home a souvenir. Guy wearing a Devontae Adams jersey. He'll take home a souvenir because Billiot had heavy pressure. That'll make it 3rd down and 13. Well, that'll make it 3rd down and 14 here for the home team, the Green Bay Blizzard, on their own roughly 6-7 yard line. Billiot in the shotgun, a couple of targets left and one to his right. He'll take the snap, and he'll look left. B.J. Hill over the middle. No, he's going to get sacked in the end zone. That's good for 2 points. Let's call the safety.
Yeah, Billiot, he had a couple of receivers to his left. He scrambled to right, just couldn't find anyone open. He took a sack in the end zone.
So who would have guessed that the Arizona Rattlers' first point of the year comes on a safety as Billiot taken down in the end zone by a slew of Rattlers. Looked like a pair of them, but maybe Joshua Gordon looked like he was probably there first, along with Connor Flagel, number 33. So a couple of over 6 feet guys were there in the end zone for the Rattlers. So on to kick it away for the Blizzard, number 33, Cody Barber. He was working out with Mason Crosby, the Packers kicker, last week. That was posted on the Blizzard's Instagram at BlizzardIFL.
Yeah, I saw on social media Mason Crosby was at the Blizzard practice this week.
Hanging out with Cody Barber, who lets that one fly. Will be returned at the 1 yard line and brought right up the middle. And there's nothing but space and a blocker. There's a flag thrown, but all the way to the end zone is Desmond Epps on that return. But reminder, a flag was thrown when he crossed about the midfield, right when he crossed that IFL logo.
Illegal block in the back. Number 3 on the return team. Half the distance foul. The 1st and 10. Arizona.
Blizzard fans standing back home mortgage would like your help.
There you go, a block in the back called.
Alan Chapman.
So that will be brought back. Desmond Epps had nothing but speed and space on that one. He was going the whole way. I don't even know if he needed that extra block in the back, but nonetheless, it was called. Arizona will take over on their own 10-yard line rather than, well, all the way to their end zone. So a better scenario for Green Bay here. Let's talk about Brett Tauber. It seems like he's really coming into his own. He had 10 points, 10 boards, and I believe 7 assists on the night. I mean, he had just had an incredible line. Such a transformation from even last year. Just talk about the big fella down low.
The University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point men's basketball team is feeling sweet after a pair of wins to open up the NCAA tournament. The Pointers knocked off North Central College in the round of 64 on Friday night, 72-55. Pointers junior Drew Fredrickson led the way with 15 points and 5 rebounds, both team highs. That led Stevens Point to a round of 32 matchup with Bethany Lutheran University, where the defense-first mentality shined, but Cannon O'Hearn outshined that. Pointers junior O'Hearn scored a career-high 30 points in the Pointers' 38-point rally of the Vikings. O'Hearn says Saturday he just had the hot hand.
Well, I mean, we have threats at all 5 spots in the floor. We have guys who can go for 20, 25 any given night. So it really is just about feeding the hot hand. And we know that defenses, when we play against them, they're not going to be able to focus on just 1 or 2 guys. They got to worry about all 5. And so that opens things up for everybody. And then when one guy gets in a really good rhythm, we're really good at feeding the hot hand and getting him the ball. And I mean, that was the case on Friday and Saturday.
Outscoring your first 2 opponents by 55 points in the NCAA tournament is virtually unheard of. Drew Fredrickson praised his teammates' efforts on the defensive side of the ball, calling it the backbone of this program.
It's what we do, so we just started, trusting it and practicing it all week and basically all year, and we've just been getting better and better at it every single week, and trust is a big thing. And once guys started trusting and believing in what coach was saying, 100%, we knew we were going to be able to get stops.
UWSP's players had 0 experience in the tournament going into last weekend. With the Sweet 16 approaching, 13-year veteran Pointers head coach Bob Semling says moving forward, he's trusting in his players. After all, folks, they are 2-0 in tournament play.
Well, I'm leaning on those guys. They're 2-0 in the NCAA tournament. They've got a better record than I do. So, I can't say enough about how they handled their first NCAA tournament weekend, and they're in a good place.
The Pointers take on top-seeded Whitman on Friday. Reporting from the 90 FM newsroom, I'm Alex Strouf.